All right, everyone, students, people watching, welcome to math as I'm looking at a couple settings while I'm doing this. Here we go. We're starting today with math expressions. We're going to be working on what's called expressions in math. So it's just mathematical numbers and letters all kind of put together. An expression, kind of like a facial expression, tells us stuff about situations. Math expression will tell us things about a situation. There's no equal sign in an expression, but we can write the expression a bunch of different ways. I can do my facial expression a bunch of different ways if I want. We can do math expressions a bunch of different ways if we want. It's still an expression. So I'll review just one or two things here, and then we'll get into these expressions. Okay, just by way of review, multiplication. It's a concept that in math we've talked about it with a cross or maybe an asterisk or an X and asterisk, a dot, parentheses, and we'll see a bunch of that. You'll also see it written like this. If I have something 3a, that means 3 times a. If there's no add, minus, multiply, divide, if there's nothing there, it means multiply. It means 3 times a. So just be aware, first of all, that that's what multiplication is, because you'll see things today like 3f plus 4g. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means 3 times f and 4 times g, and then added them together. What if I have 6.2c minus 18.9j? Well, it just means that there's this number times this letter, and I'm subtracting off whatever these two multiplied are. Remember with PEMDAS, with order of operations, we would first multiply those together, then multiply these together, and then do the subtraction. For example, if I tell you that there's 4.5 m's, ugh, it's an ugly m. There's 4.5 m's, and I want to add to that 6.2 n's. What are you thinking? Well, wait, what do I do from there? There's nothing to do there. But then you're told that m is 3 and n is 2. Well, then you can do something. You can substitute this 3 in for the m and the 2 in for the n, and now here's what it looks like. Now it looks like 4.5 times the m, which is 3, so it's 4.5 times 3. And then added to that is 6.2 times whatever n is, whatever n that's in here. N is 2, so you can put the 2 in place of the n. You can just substitute in. You can just type that expression right into the calculator and you'll get an answer. 4.5 threes plus 6.2 twos, and when I hit enter, I'll get the answer. 25.9. So that is equivalent to 25.9. And just to show you what I mean, 4.5 times 3, and then when we add to that 6.2 times 2, the calculator knows to do order of operations, so it knows to do the multiplications first and then add. We're going to get the same number. You have to be aware when you have an expression like this, you first go through, do all the multiply and divide, then go through and do all the add and subtract. Either way, you get this number. And that will happen with whatever it looks like. If I've got, what if I tell you that I've got some BYU apparel and they're all worth 10 bucks each. And then I've got added to that, I've got some U of U apparel. And let's say the U of U apparel is worth 15 bucks each. How much do I have altogether? Well, there's nothing you can't really figure it out until I tell you that I have 8 items of BYU clothing, and I've got 10 items of U of U clothing. So I can put the 8 in for the Y, so I've got 8 $10, and I add to that 10, because we use 10, $15. Well then, 8 times 10 is 80, and I add to that, your calculator can work this out, but I just know that 10 times 15 is 150. And then you can add those together to get, I've got $230 worth of college apparel. Sometimes you'll see expressions where they say, what if you start with $5, but then you earn $20 every week? How much will you have after, say a number? Let's do, what about after 8 weeks? After 8 weeks, how much money do you have? Well, the way we do that is, we start with the $5, and then we add this 20, it gets repeated every week. So that's another way to say multiplication is just added, repeated addition. So you're just doing 20 all the time. So it's 5 plus 20 weeks. However many weeks there are, you multiply that on because it's 20 each of those times. Let's see, it's 8 weeks, so this becomes 5 plus 20 times 8. Your calculator can solve that. If you type that in the calculator, you'll get 5. Your calculator will figure out that that's 160 and then add it together, and you've ended up with $165. 5 plus 20 times 8, or 5 plus 28. It's the same thing. Math, it means exactly the same thing. So it's just a matter of being able to turn the words that they're saying into an expression to then put the number into. What if you start with 10 chickens? And every year you get 50 more. How many will you have after 13 years? Well, you're turning these words into a mathematical expression. So you start with 10 chickens, and every year you get, so you add 50 more. So that's 50 more times every year. And so you'll see a lot of this where you're starting with the number and then you're multiplying two others with it. And then after 13 years, 10 plus 50 13s. Your calculator will get you the answer to this. I have no idea what 50 times 13 is, but 650. 10 plus 50 13s. Altogether, added up, is 660. Or suppose you have, let's say you've got 6 gallons of ice cream. 6 gallons of ice cream. And you eat half a gallon every week. You eat half a gallon each week. Well, when are you going to be gone? Well, let's see, 6 gallons, and you eat, so you're going to take off 0.5 gallons every week. Well, how many weeks before you go down into the 0 range? 10 weeks, 8 weeks, 5 weeks? You can try some numbers here. You can do some guessing and checking. You might know that, I know how many halves there are in 6. But one of the questions on the assignment might ask you, when will that go into the negative? What will cause that to happen? Well, it's when we have a certain number of weeks. 6 minus 0.5, whatever that is. Pick a number. What do you think? 10, maybe 10 weeks? So 6 minus 0.5 tens. Oh, that's down to 1. So if I do 12, 6 minus 0.5, let's say I'm not that lucky to do 12. Let's say I do 11. 6 minus 11.5. Oh, I'm at a half, so I just need to take off another half. 6 minus 0.5 12s. That's how we get to 0. So it's a matter of what number would go there to get us into the zeros. The main point of today, the main point of what we're learning is that there's variables. And these variables can be anything, letters A through Z. Later on in life, you'll even get into the Greek alphabet letters. numbers, we'll be using numbers all the way from negative infinity all the way through to positive infinity. All the numbers on the number line there. You could use any of those numbers. 0 all the way out. It could be negatives, positives, could be fractions, could be decimals. And then it's a matter of these numbers showing up together in certain ways that we then have to find answers. Like I showed before, we had some decimals, had some whole numbers. What if I told you you've got 1/4 G's plus 2.5 H's, and G is 5 and H is 6. You can do it. You've worked with numbers like this. It's just a matter of putting the numbers in place of the variable. 1/4 times 5 plus 2.5 times 6. And then typing that in your calculator and getting the answer. And that's the main message of today. 1/4 times 5 plus 2.5 times 6. And what do we end up with? 16.25. Finding a number answer to go with it. Don't be too overwhelmed. If you need help, you can research the internet. You can, on the assignment, get help on that assignment in each question. You can contact me. I try to be available as much as possible in this time. And there you go. Take a look at the assignment and give it a shot. Thanks for watching. I hope it's been helpful.